There is a plant sitting in your kitchen right now that has killed more people than gunpowder, funded more wars than oil, and is hiding inside almost everything you ate today. And you don't even know its real name. It's not sugar, it's not wheat, it's not oil. By the time this video ends, you'll never look at a grocery store the same way again. You were taught that America was built on freedom, on gold, on oil, on cotton. But every single one of those stories has the same hidden ingredient buried underneath it. A plant so ordinary that historians barely mention it, and so powerful that without it, the United States as you know it would not exist. So why isn't it in the history books the way Washington or the Revolution is? Because the people who built this country didn't want you to know how much power one crop actually had. 10,000 years ago, in the mountains of southern Mexico, a scraggly wild grass called teosinte produced something almost useless: tiny, hard, inedible seeds. Indigenous farmers spent thousands of years transforming it, generation after generation, into something the world had never seen. A plant that could feed more people per acre than almost anything else on Earth. By the time Europeans arrived in the Americas, corn wasn't just food, it was civilization itself. It built the Aztec Empire, the Maya cities, the Mississippian mound builders whose earthworks still rise from Illinois farmland today. And then, in 1621, a starving group of English colonists in Massachusetts were taught how to grow it by the very people whose land they had taken. Without that lesson, the Plymouth colony likely dies in its first winter. The United States, quite literally, may never have happened. But here's the part they don't teach you. Corn didn't just feed the colonies, it became currency. In parts of early America, farmers literally paid their taxes in corn. Preachers were paid in corn. Debts were settled in corn. It was more trusted than paper money because paper money kept collapsing. And then came the twist nobody expects. Corn didn't just feed people, it became alcohol, and that alcohol nearly tore the country apart. Farmers on the frontier discovered something brilliant. Corn was heavy and rotted fast, but distilled into whiskey, it became light, valuable, and nearly impossible to spoil. So when the brand new United States government slapped a tax on whiskey in 1791, it wasn't just taxing a drink, it was taxing survival itself. Farmers rebelled, militias marched. President George Washington personally rode out at the head of an army to crush his own citizens. It was called the Whiskey Rebellion, and it was the first time the U.S. government proved it had the power to enforce its laws with force. All because of corn. Here's where it gets darker. Corn wasn't just building fortunes in the North. In the South, it was quietly fueling one of the darkest chapters in American history. Cotton gets all the credit for the Southern economy, but cotton doesn't feed anyone. Corn did. It was the fuel that kept the entire brutal plantation system running, feeding enslaved laborers, feeding livestock, feeding the machine of forced labor that cotton profits depended on. Without cheap, abundant corn, the economics of slavery in the American South may not have worked at all. And then, decades later, corn shaped the war that would decide the nation's future. During the Civil War, whichever side could feed its army the fastest had the advantage, and Union cornfields in the Midwest became a silent weapon. The North's ability to mass-produce corn, move it by rail, and feed hundreds of thousands of soldiers gave the Union a logistical edge historians still study today. A war that redefined the country, partly decided by which side had more corn in its silos. By the 20th century, corn had already shaped religion, rebellion, slavery, and war. But its final transformation was the most invisible and the most terrifying. In the 1970s, U.S. government policy began paying farmers to grow more corn than the country could ever eat. The surplus had to go somewhere. Scientists found a way to break corn down into a cheap, ultra-sweet syrup, and within a decade, it was quietly inserted into nearly every processed food in America. Soda, bread, ketchup, salad dressing, baby food. Corn became the hidden ingredient inside food that doesn't even look like corn. Today, roughly 90 million acres of American land grow corn, more than any other crop in the country. Most of it isn't even eaten by humans directly. It feeds cattle, becomes fuel, becomes plastic, becomes the syrup in your coffee. The plant that once saved a starving colony had become the invisible foundation of an entire nation's economy, diet, and health. Here's the part almost nobody knows. The same plant that fed the Pilgrims, funded rebellion, fueled slavery's economy, and won a war is now quietly linked to the modern obesity and diabetes crisis sweeping the country. The crop that once meant survival may now be quietly shortening lives, not through war or rebellion, but through something far quieter. A grocery cart, a dinner table, a habit nobody questions. Corn didn't just build America, it became America, hiding in plain sight in every single meal for 400 years. And the next time you sit down to eat, ask yourself, how much of your plate was ever really your choice?